YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Slick Rob 713, and today we are back again with another video. And on today's video, we're going to be working on this BMW. I don't know if you've been watching my previous videos. If you haven't, go ahead and check them out. I've been talking about this car. It's been having a few issues. It's got an oil leak around the oil filter housing. I think the gasket went out, and we're gonna do spark plugs and the PCV valve because it's been kind of smoking, and I'm gonna try to show y'all what I'm talking about. Is sometimes it does it and sometimes it doesn't, so I'm assuming it's the PCV valve. But if it doesn't fix that issue, then most likely it could be my my turbo seals that are out on this car. So let me show y'all what I'm talking about on the smoking part, because sometimes it does it whenever I first crank it up, like it's been sitting for a while. It like throws a lot of smoke, and usually whenever I drive it for, like, let's say for instance I start it right now and then I just let it warm up for like 10 minutes, and then I go drive it, and then when I get to the light or to a stop sign, like I get like big clouds of smoke. So that's the issue that I'm trying to fix. But once the car runs real good and it's warmed up nice, like it doesn't smoke anymore. So I'm assuming it could be the PCV valve. The PCV valve for this vehicle, it's plastic. So the one that I ordered, it's aluminum, and we already got the parts. So let me go ahead and show y'all what I'm talking about with the smoking issue. Hopefully it does it right here. So I'm assuming it could be the PCV valve, like I was telling y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and pop the hood and take out a few things, and let's get to the PCV valve and the spark plugs, and hopefully I get my oil filter housing gasket on time to do this job, because I ordered one from Amazon, but they just gave me the oil cooler ones, and I need both. Since I'm doing this job, I might as well replace both of them. So I'm waiting on one more part, but I could do the spark plugs and the PCV valve for right now. So let's get to that right now. All right, you guys, so we finally removed everything that we needed to remove in order for us to get to the PCV valve and the spark plugs. I don't want a lot of people to think that this is gonna be like a do-it-yourself type of video. I'm just gonna be showing you guys what I'm doing to the car. I don't want a lot of people to think that I'm an expert mechanic or anything like that, because really I'm not. I just do a few things that I know I can do so I could save myself a little bit of money. Because if you take this to like a shop or to the dealer, man, they're gonna charge you some money. So it's like I try to do things that I know what I can do. So I don't want a lot of people to think that this is like a do-it-yourself type of video. But anyways, guys, basically what I found out right now is, as I was looking at the area where I'm gonna do the PCV valve, which is right here, there is a leak right there from oil. Let me get the flashlight real quick. There is a leak right there, and I'm trying to get the lighting as good as possible. Right there, as y'all can see, that there's a crack on the valve cover. So that is the main reason why I have a oil leak, pretty much. So I'm consuming a lot of oil, and there was a lot of oil residue like all in this area and in this connector too. And I've been having like idling, I don't want to say idling issues, but driving issues with the vehicle. So that is the main reason why I want to change the plugs. But this could be the main reason why too. It was just covered in oil, and I already cleaned it with some contact cleaner. As you can see, it's pretty clean, but it was covered. It was covered in oil. So maybe we weren't getting like a good signal from the sensor to the fuel going into the injectors. So maybe that could be an issue. Maybe I was having like a fuel issue. So we'll see what happens whenever we put everything back together and we do the PCV valve and the spark plugs, and we'll see what happens with the vehicle. So right now, what I'm gonna try to do for the meantime, because I really don't have enough to get this valve cover right now. We're on a budget right now with this vehicle too, because I got like 3 vehicles that I'm trying to like work on too. And what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some JB weld, and I'm just gonna, I don't want to say I'm gonna cake it up on there, but I'm just gonna put as much as I can and see what it does, and I'm just gonna let it dry overnight and see what happens. So I guess I got to take a trip to the auto parts store. All right, you guys, so we finally patched up the valve cover, and I did my best that I can do on it. It kind of dripped, but oh well, that's the best that we can do. And that thing is hard, man. It's like hard as a motherfucking rock. So hopefully it seals up and no oil comes out from out there. We already cleaned the fuel sensor rail, and we took off that fuel rail because we're about to install the PCV valve. And I actually got an upgraded one. Where's it at? Oh, it's right here. Got an upgraded one, so let's put this on. All right, you guys, so we finally installed the PCV valve. It's in there. It's not that hard. It took I believe it was a 13 millimeter to take that off, and it wasn't that hard at all. We finally cleaned the fuel rail sensor, cleaned it up pretty good. And believe it or not, the valve cover, the little sealant that I did, it's kind of holding up. We finally changed the spark plugs. We put the NGK ones on there, the 97506. The only thing I gotta replace is this injector right here. This one, I don't know if y'all can see that. This one right there. There's something up with the clip, and it just doesn't want to clip on, so I might not be having a good contact on there. But honestly, the spark plugs were pretty quick to change. I mean, these just pop open like that. Sensor comes off from right here, and then just pop the whole thing off, and then that's it. And like I said, you guys, I don't want for y'all to think that my videos are gonna be like me explaining to you how to like fix your car or stuff like that. I'm just showing you what I'm doing to my vehicle and the modifications that I'm doing to it and the repairs that I'm doing to it. So that's how my videos are gonna be, guys. I don't really want to explain into detail what you need to do to, you know, take out a spark plug and stuff like that. So, and we're gonna move on to the oil filter housing gasket and the oil cooler housing gasket, because we need to remove that. So we need to remove all of this right here, and that's pretty much it, guys. Cranked up the car yesterday and it ran pretty well. Like, it fired up, no struggles on firing it up. And I don't know if you saw, like in the beginning of the video, I kind of struggled to crank up the vehicle, and that's the kind of like the issues I've been having. So I changed out the spark plugs, and now my vehicle starts up like on the first try without any hesitation or anything like that. So the spark plugs were bad, like they were honestly pretty bad. Let me get a few of them right now. Here goes one of the spark plugs, and as you can see, guys, they're bad. It was like burnt, and mostly all of them look like this. I have 3 of them that were covered in oil and have like a little small hint of gasoline. So I'm assuming the valve cover is bad. It's leaking oil into the to the spark plugs, and we might have to figure out if something is going on with the seals with the injectors or the spark plug tube seals. One of those two. Like I said, I'm not an expert mechanic, so I'm gonna look up some information on that, what could be causing that. But I'm thinking it could be some seals on the inside, maybe some injector seals, who knows, some valve seals. I mean, we'll look into it. So but yeah, this was kind of like the main issue I was having with my vehicle, with the hesitation and all that. So I haven't test drove the vehicle yet, so we're gonna make another video about that. But for now, we're gonna get ready to install the oil filter housing gaskets and the oil cooler gasket. All right, you guys, before we get to the oil filter housing gaskets and the oil cooler gaskets, we got to put on this ignition coil. So let's get to that right now. This is the main reason why I wanted to change out that ignition coil, because it's actually not the factory one. So the previous owner must have changed that one out. And then look Look at this cheap ass clip. Like it just, I could just take it off like nothing. So it wasn't making a good secured contact. So the new one is sitting on there perfect. So yeah, that could have been one of my issues. Like I said, I was having like a small little hesitation stutter, like at low RPMs. So that could be one of the issues why the vehicle was not performing at its peak performance. The only time it wouldn't do that whenever it was in sport mode. Whenever it was in high RPMs, I guess the motor could handle that high pressure, and it was basically not stuttering in sport mode at higher RPMs, I guess. So yeah, I have a feeling this was one of the issues, and hopefully whenever we get to test drive it, we'll see what is going on with it. But right now I'm gonna crank up the car and see how it's running right now, and we're gonna run some codes on it with the scanner. We have a PO420. Catalytic system efficiency below threshold. Bank 1. I don't have no drivability issues though. It still runs pretty good. Then we got the PO430 for bank 2. Ambient air temperature sensor circuit high input. Yeah, I do need to change that. That's the third code that I do need to change. And I'm gonna do some bumper work, so most likely the ambient air temperature is somewhere around there in the bumper location. So yeah, we got two codes, the PO420 and the PO430. So I'm gonna look into those, but most likely it's the O2 sensor. So the car already had that issue, so that's something that I'm not gonna really be worried about because the vehicle does run pretty well with these codes. But the only thing I was having the issue was with the kind of like whenever it's on low RPMs, it would kind of hesitate and stutter a little bit. So we need to drive it and see what happens after that. So now we can get to the oil filter housing gaskets and the oil cooler gaskets. All right, you guys, so we finally removed the oil filter housing and also the oil cooler. So you can see we have it removed from right here. The bolts were pretty easy to remove. The only one that I had a little difficulty was the one back here. I had to remove the intake manifold, and when I came across that, when I removed it, I noticed that I was missing a bolt, and the gaskets for the intake manifold are bad. So we're gonna replace them. I already ordered them. So basically this project is still continuing because we're still finding little issues on the car as we move along and remove other parts. So I already ordered intake manifold gaskets, and since I got to remove the throttle body, I might as well replace the gasket for that too, since this vehicle has a lot of mileage and I haven't done nothing to the vehicle since I got it. So the only thing I've done is oil changes, and that's it. So I'm replacing stuff here and there now, and it's actually time to do that because of the high mileage. So replacing all the gaskets, it's probably the best option that I need to do right now. So we're already replacing this gasket and the oil cooler gasket as well. The last thing that we're gonna have to do is replace the valve cover gasket. So that's gonna be on another project. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the airbox. I'm thinking about just getting some Spectra filters right here, and I'm just gonna create maybe like a custom pipe right here and then another one so they could sit a little higher up here, and then this one too, so it won't be touching the throttle body. So I'm not too sure yet if I'm gonna do that or not. So I might make another separate video of that, or the project just might be continuing along with this whole video. But for right now, I'm gonna put on the gaskets on the oil cooler housing and the oil cooler, and then we're gonna install that. And then the last thing that I need to do is just wait for the intake manifold gaskets to come in so I could get done with this project, because it turned into a spark plug change and coil change into changing out gaskets for this and now for the intake. And I had to patch up a crack in the valve cover, but I mean, I was gonna do the gaskets regardless because it was leaking oil, but it turned into more things that I had to do. So now that I have this open, I'm thinking about doing another custom work right here to get some better airflow than that factory air box. So yeah, keep on watching. What we're gonna do is put a little bit of, if this stuff will come out, we're gonna put a little bit of gasket maker around the housing. This stuff is barely coming out. I don't even think it's working. I already poked it through right there. I might as well get it through right here, man, because it's not coming out through the other side. Just gonna put a few dabs all around it. So when it seals up, mostly on the edges. Oh shit. And you don't want it on the inside of it. Just on the outside. Just with your finger. Just clean around the edges. There we go. Alright, let's put the first one in. And also too, the gasket maker will help you keep the gasket in place whenever you're installing it, so it won't move around. And make sure this one is in the right position. Alright, making sure I wasn't installing it backwards or anything like that, but it should be good right there. Alright, there goes the first one. Now is the second one. Most likely I'm gonna have to buy a new tube of a gasket maker because it's gonna dry up. But yeah, you guys, I'm gonna do the exact same thing on this one, and then I'm gonna install the housings, and I'll show y'all after I get done with everything. All right, you guys, so we finally put everything back together the way it's supposed to be. Oil filter housing is back. I am noticing a small little leak down here by the oil cooler, see? So I need some O-rings right here, guys. But other than that, it's just a small minor leak. It was not leaking no more from down here anymore. That was the main issue from the oil filter housing gasket. And since this one bolt for the oil filter housing gasket needed to be removed, the intake manifold was in the way, so we removed the intake manifold and we replaced the gaskets because they were bad, along with the throttle body gaskets, which is like very down there. And as you can see, we upgraded our intake air filters. We have a custom air filter intake that I basically made. Well, the inlets are custom. This is from O'Reilly Spectra filter, and I'm putting oil on it already. Spectra filters, and the inlets are basically custom made. Where I got the custom inlets from, believe it or not, guys, these are from Home Depot. They are from Home Depot, and they actually work. The reason why I did it this way is because I could not find air filters that were black. I kept seeing red and like gray, pink. So I didn't want that color. So I wanted something black, and I basically decided to custom make my air inlet. But yeah, guys, we finally got the car going. It is actually running pretty good. We took it for a test drive, and it is actually running the way that I wanted it to drive. We still have a small little stutter hesitation at low RPMs. I thought maybe changing the spark plugs would have fixed that, but I'm assuming one of the injectors is bad, or I think all the injectors are kind of like gummy or sticky, so we might have to put like a fuel system cleaner on it and see what happens. But most likely I feel like I might have to replace my injectors, or it could be something with the transmission. I don't want it to be the transmission because that's going to be more work for me, so hopefully it is something with the injectors. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put the car on a like a real good BMW scanner. I actually have it, but I'm gonna do that at another time. I'm gonna actually run the codes and see if there's any codes that are not showing, like on the OBD2 scanner. So I'm gonna see if maybe like IMPA picks it up and see if anything is going on with the injectors. And I believe we could actually see if the injectors are pushing the fuel the way it's supposed to on there. I'm not too sure. Like I said, I've never worked on BMW before. This is like my first time ever working on the car, so I'm actually showing you guys what I'm doing to the vehicle. So don't think that this is like a do-it-yourself type of video. This is just me showing you what I'm doing to the car and stuff like that. So let's crank up this car, man, and see how these air filters sound. It was kind of popping right there and revving a little high, but it usually does that whenever I cold start it. But I didn't like the way that it was kind of popping like that. No more smoke. That's one of the issues that I had to fix. The car was smoking. No leaks. It's funny that it doesn't leak whenever the vehicle is running. I guess because the oil is just constantly pushing through, but whenever it's parked, I guess it leaks oil from my hair. So we just need a nice little O-ring to go up in there. Nothing major. See, ever since I changed the spark plugs, I do hear my injectors a little louder. So I'm thinking the injectors are, I don't want to say they're bad, but they are old. Let's just put it like that. They're just old, so they might just need to be replaced and maybe put some better injectors in here. But other than that, guys, the car runs good, man. I drove it yesterday and it was driving pretty well. So I'm gonna make another video of how the vehicle runs and all that. So I just wanted to give y'all a quick little update on what was going on with the car and what I did with it. And basically, I'm done with this car, man. I did what I had to do to it, and it's nothing really happened. Like, it's running the way it's supposed to. So I just wanted to fix because this was leaking. This whole housing was leaking. It was leaking all the way at the bottom, and I didn't want no oil to be down here. So that was one of the main concerns, and I wanted to fix that that little stutter hesitation that I had, but I guess it's still there. So I'm assuming it's the fuel injectors, guys. So we're gonna make another video about that and see how far we can go and fix that problem. But as far as right now, everything that I did to the car is actually making the car run pretty good. So let's see how these air filters sound, man. Not bad, you guys, not bad. Yeah, once the car warms up, man, this car, like, it runs beautifully, man. So yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope y'all enjoy it. Go ahead and comment, like, and if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, guys. I'm gonna be making more videos similar to like this, and hopefully this car will be ready for the next big car meet that's gonna be coming up, whichever one it is. I don't care who's gonna be throwing it. So hopefully you'll see this car in a car meet pretty soon, guys. Thanks for watching.